what's going on, music family? This is the Antman hanging out at Carolina Hemp Company for Hempy Halloween. But right now, I have After the Rain with me. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing pretty good. We had a great time today.
Yeah, it's definitely Ohio outside today.
It's very cold. We had the heater up on stage, and that seemed to help a little bit, just a little.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. People were probably laughing at us doing our little hands in the heater in between songs, but got to do it. That's it, yeah.
So how long have you guys been After the Rain, I guess?
Well, it's been since around 2007, I would say. Yep. My wife and I moved to Columbus in 2005, so it took a little time to find everybody for the group. I had fully intended on putting together an acoustic rock band when we moved to Columbus, so I ran into Katie first, and it was off Craigslist. Craigslist.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. And John, too. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we just found each other on Craigslist within that, about a year after I found Katie, and then we've been jamming ever since.
I don't think I've ever heard a band tell me they found each other on Craigslist before.
Yeah, it was wild. I couldn't believe it either, but...
and it actually worked out. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, she came over and she met me and my wife and, totally got along instantly, and the same thing with him.
We had a chinchilla, so we were cool.
Yeah, Katie has a chinchilla as well.
Really?
We both have chinchillas.
Oh, that is sweet. That's a separate interview for another time.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
John, do you have a chinchilla? Ferret or something?
I am opposed to most pets.
Oh, he has children. He's got children.
Oh, hey, yeah, but those are pets enough. Yeah.
We have children.
I got 2 under 5, so I get it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, being 2020 and you guys being in the band for so long and stuff like that, what are some of the things that you guys have had happen to you guys in the course of being the band, separate from the pandemic? We'll get into that.
Sure.
But, as a band, what are some of the things that you guys have ran into?
Just being a new band in a big city, it takes a second to get venues to notice you or to connect with the right people. So that was maybe a little bit of a thing that was, that slowed us down a little bit. But as soon as we connected and we started playing out, we were well received. I mean, and it was encouraging for us to stay together, and just kept on rolling from that point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What were some of your guys' biggest influences, coming into music? I know as a band you guys have been together for a minute, but independently, getting into music, what were some of your guys' influences getting started?
Start with that one?
Yeah, totally.
You go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm inspired by the new I'm a bass player, so I'm inspired by the new bass players of today, like the guys that are, making this music that's different than a lot of other guys. I do a lot of different things that a lot of bass players don't do. I do a lot of pads and a lot of really low, that works with our band. And also, a lot of times we don't play with a drummer, so I'm kind of the rhythm a little bit, and trying to hold down that side of things too. So, but Joe Dart is my hero.
Oh wow, that's a good hero to have.
So my influences are from 90s rock. So I was a huge fan of all Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, all that stuff. But so I listened to all that stuff and got really into it. But vocal wise, Chris Cornell was a huge one for me. Totally bummed out, a few years ago. It was a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Man, I was about to go see them at the big rock festival here in Columbus.
Yeah.
And boom. So that was my guy. I absolutely loved him for, his vocals. And then I also picked up influences from regular singers like Sinatra to get the vibrato going. And, I picked up on a lot of eclectic type of music too. But my big influences was a lot of 90s rock, and then just kind of moved from there, Smashing Pumpkins, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Katie.
I would say, so I'm the violinist. I'm influenced a lot by classical music. When I went to OSU, I was classically trained. And then when I met these guys, these
Go
boys,
Bucks, by the way.
we figured out all this looping pedal, the muff pedal, like all these different kinds of toys that I can play with. So I feel like I'm like classical meets electronic kind of. And band wise, I'm influenced a lot by Star Set and Skillet with the string sections in them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about, and maybe also my students. I'm a music teacher. So
Are you
they
really?
influence me a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're actually familiar with some of the female artists, violinists that are into the EDM, like I'm trying
Like
to.
Lindsay Sterling? Or,
Yes.
Yeah. yes.
Yes.
I've never met her, but I love her.
Oh
so.
my gosh. So like I've ran into her music, her Christmas album. Like I was never, and I admit, like I was a rock kid. I'm an '80s kid, so like metal, White Rain, Hairspray kind of stuff, you know. But like I heard that 5 Christmases ago, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, she like remade Christmas too. She's a boss.
Yeah.
She's a boss ass bitch.
So
yeah.
So what is it like for you, you know, being a female in a band and being a unique skill set in a band? What is it like for you?
It's hella fun. And honestly, I feel like I'm kind of an assertive person because of being a teacher. So it doesn't change that much in music, I guess. There's not really like a flip. It's like teacher brain and then Katie brain.
Wow.
But they're, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's pretty awesome. You know, I think that in 2020, a pandemic aside, it's absolutely necessary to find your own because there's so much oversaturation, you know, for so many bands. It's like, you know, you're going to strum a same sound. You're going to do something totally similar and not even try to be. You know, so I love how you guys are able to melodically fit.
Yeah. With the whole concept behind the band,
Katie.
the whole concept was I wanted to have a violin in it, and it wasn't just because I loved the sound. It was personal influence, like my grandfather and his twin brother, they played violin, and I grew up listening to them, and it just was ingrained in me to love that instrument. But yeah, you know, and some of the newer progressive bands that had, you know, things like a cello or a violin, I was like, man, I would really love to incorporate that. Instead of having a lead guitar player like everybody else has, I wanted to have a lead violin player. And so she handles a lot of the, you know, the rhythm and stuff as well, but also when it's time to jam down, she steps up, hits high on her volume pedal and goes at it, you know, and I think, I mean, from me being in the audience to even do sound checks and just listening to her, it's captivating. It lures you in. There's no way around it. So yeah, we were really happy to have her come and do that, and then it added a huge dynamic to our sound. And I wanted to go more towards like that acoustic rock, you know, kind of like a Days of the New kind of thing, but with violin in there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I was thinking, and we honestly have kind of gone a different direction than what I was thinking, but I knew that was going to happen a little bit because, you know, once you get everybody together with all these influence, I mean, most of us are influenced by rock and roll and heavy rock, but yet we're in an acoustic rock band.
Yeah.
But that stuff really does come through when we play. You can tell that, you know, I've got a past in rock and roll vocals. You know, sometimes I'll let it out a little bit, you know, and
Almost a Chris Daltrey in a way.
not afraid.
You know, almost. You
not
know,
afraid to get a little rock and roll in there, get smooth, get a little breathy voice stuff. I mean, it's just about having a good mix, you know, not being too boring.
Well, you know, the way you guys carry yourselves as a band, you know, from bass to violin, you know, and shout out to the drummer who can't be here today.
Yeah, Timmy.
You know, but, you know, I feel like, you know, even to see you guys as a full band, it's just a whole lot of awesome attitude.
Oh.
You know, like the commanding way you guys present yourselves, you know, and I don't even have to see him drum to know that it's probably, you know, just as even more epic. So let me ask you guys this. Is there music that's in a notepad somewhere on a shelf that you guys haven't touched, or or have prepared and just set aside. I know a lot of artists, musicians have that catalog that just gets put up on the shelf, and sometimes they pick it back up. Sometimes they,
Yeah, well, this guy, he's got a whole another website full of his stuff. I mean,
I've got probably, I don't know, 20 gigabytes of just songs that I'm working on my computer at all times. And when I get the hankering, I just start listening to stuff that I'm doing. And, I if I get inspired, I work on one or another. And yeah.
he's got some great stuff. I'll sit there and listen to it and chill out, like meditate kind of music he's got on there. And he's got some real cool, like, electronic edge stuff. It's just awesome stuff. So sometimes we bring a lot of that into our material too.
How's the pandemic affected After the Rain as a whole?
Well, I mean, it made it really hard for us to get together at first. I mean, we started out probably like everybody else thinking, hey, we got a social distance where we can't even be around our friends. But after, it was, months and months went by, and then we were like, hey, do you guys feel comfortable to get together? And it was just kind of like that. She being a teacher, and like we were all concerned and worried. But now we practice on the regular, and we stay far away enough from each other in the room. And
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to do what you can.
Yeah.
And especially since bands are going to start playing out again, we're going to start playing out again. We want to be tight. We want to be nice, have a good sound, and be what people expect a professional band to be when we go out and play. But that takes practice. That takes the sacrifice of possibly exposing ourselves to something. But so far, so good.
Yeah.
Can I say something on that? Yeah. So this year was shaping up actually to be like probably our best year. Like last year, the end of it was really cracking. Like, and we were lining stuff up, and then everything hit, and it's just like depression, to say the least. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the dry spell was like I had to do something. So, but
we had like 5 shows set up for the right then in the early spring, and then boom. Like, because we had movement, like we were doing stuff.
Every weekend before.
You were there. I mean, we were playing a lot, and then boom.
What I know we're getting ready to close up shop here and head home to our families for the day and getting out of this Ohio weather we're having today. What is some advice that you guys would give to somebody sitting at home, or somebody that comes out to the show and says, "Oh, hey, shit, that looks easy. Like, I want to do that." Like what would you guys, advice-wise, what would you give?
You want to do it? Go ahead.
I would say the biggest advice is you're never too old to learn a new instrument. Personally, I feel like ukulele is so easy to pick up. You could definitely teach yourself ukulele, go online, look up ukulele tabs, transition into another instrument. It's never too late, and anybody can learn music. Anybody.
yeah, I mean, just do it a lot. Find something that inspires you, and that's going to be what brings you to the next level of anything. Finding something that inspires you and working on it and just doing it all the time,
Music is a huge outlet, and it helps therapeutically. I mean, not much more powerful than music for therapeutic reasons. But that's one thing. One other thing is that instruments and equipment nowadays is extremely inexpensive. So people, when I was young, there was no way I could afford any of this equipment, any of the stuff that we use now, guitars, drums, any of that. But nowadays, you can get a very good instrument for a low amount of money that plays well. And I would encourage people to not be held up by thinking that they can't afford it. That's definitely something you don't have to worry about anymore. You can record yourself for pennies on the dollar. You can get yourself a nice guitar or something, bass, whatever. And I would encourage people to just go ahead and do that.
Do it.
Yeah, you can record so easy. The mics on your phone are just phenomenal, and there's so many things that you can do that you weren't able to do before, the access you didn't have. So I would encourage people that if you have that little bit of an itch to do some music, it'll make you feel great, and you can afford to do it, and just got to spend the time. So I would encourage people to, if they get the itch, scratch it.
Right on. Cool. Is there anywhere that they can find you guys? Website, social media,
Yes.
any places you want to plug?
So far we're on Reverb Nation, and we're currently building our website, and all that kind of got put on hold after the Corona thing, and but we're getting that up soon. But I'll make sure to get the full address to you for the Reverb Nation and our Facebook.
I actually have access to Reverb
Facebook.
Nation. I've been airing your guys' stuff on my podcast
Oh, cool.
for some time.
Oh, awesome.
So everybody that performed today, I have tracked down one way or another some piece of audio, whether it be raw YouTube, raw whatever, and been airing it on my show for the last couple weeks. So
Awesome.
I'm going to take all the pieces that we got today, piece them together, and I'm going to send them out. And I basically ran out of battery because it was so cold out. It just it sucked my battery out. So I was able to record some nice audio pieces. I'm going to piece those together and get those released as well for you guys. And then you guys got audio and video to go with it, plus this interview.
Love it.
So
Thank you.
guys for doing what you do as artists, musicians, and shout out to the drummer Timmy.
Tim,
Shout out to Timmy at home, and thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.